Speaking of love, we have our Ask CTC. We want to hear from you, the fans, the listeners, the consumer. We want to hear from you. And this week's question, each and every week, we'll take a fan question. And this week we have one from Ack Hockey who wants to know, did you guys ever feel that there were referees that had it out for you?
The old guys they'd have the worst grudges of all time. Billy McCreary and those, like, they absolutely had played favorites with everybody. I loved it. Like, I thought that was like a big part of the game, is getting the referees on your side. I think nowadays, like everything else, it's more robotic, and you don't know who the referee is. They don't have their name on the back of it, their jerseys, but no question, the Kerry Frazier's and the Billy McCreary's and those guys had their favorites, and they had the guys that they hated.
Van Hellemans.
You could count on it. You could absolutely set your watch to a tripping call to Darcy Tucker in the first period on Saturday night from Billy McCreary. And he'd come back and, sorry, Razor, deal with it.
Yeah, I agree with Razor. I never thought, you know what, for me personally, I learned real fast in the American Hockey League to shut my mouth when it came to the referees. I wasn't a high-end player. All I did was take penalties, and I wasn't drawing anything. I learned real quick in the American League with Justin St. Pierre. And I want to go on record that I think being a referee is an incredibly hard job, and I love the refs. I actually really do. I have a couple buddies that are refs now. But I remember Justin St. Pierre in the American Hockey League. I was, I got a call for something, and this went, and I would lose my marbles, and he would, just penalty. And finally, I'm like, how stupid am I? Like, just
I'm not winning
up.
this.
No, I'm not winning it. So from one point forward, I just said, I'm not saying another word to him. I'm going to be nothing but nice. I'm just going to spot. If he gives me a penalty, I'm going to the box. And I want to say, like, a couple months later, I ran into Justin at the bar. I bought him a beer. I said, hi, Justin. I hope you're doing well. And I remember that moving into the NHL. Then he loved me. And I remember getting some breaks from Justin St. Pierre, actually.
The human element, Commie. Come on.
Yeah, like,
awesome.
I remember getting some breaks, and I'd see him, and I'd wink at him. Hey, Justin, how you doing? Hey, Commie, how are you? Good, thanks.
Came from the same place, right? If you get the guys in the minors and you all make it, everyone knows where you were.
Exactly. The one ref that I have no idea if he had it in for the Calgary Flames, and you just said his name earlier, and I'd like to think no, but it's one that comes to mind, was Kerry Frazier and the Calgary Flames. And I actually looked it up because I knew this question was coming because it's our fan question. And I believe this is Kerry Frazier's last game coaching in Calgary. This was also my last game as a Calgary Flame. Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It is, I know Tampa was up 2-1. No, we were up 2-1. Sorry. We were up 2-1 going into game 4. This is a big game in Calgary. 1 minute and 52 seconds into the game. This is back with one ref.
Save, rebound, taken down in front, Modine. That will be a penalty.
Commodore will go for holding as Modine drove to the net. We've got more stuff going. Score on the rebound. And Commodore's he's in the box, as is Clark in the box.
Now, minors.
It looks that way. Looks like a 5-on-3 to start this thing. Wow, a full 2 minutes.
What a big chance. The first goal has mattered so much.
The fans, I think, just now realize it as they start to boo the referees. Well, you see Sutter's reaction. Here we go.
Right down below us in front of the penalty box. There's a shot. It scores! They're on the board! Tampa Bay gets that vital first goal on a power play.
Kerry Frazier calls Chris Clark for cross-checking, and at the same time, Mike Commodore for holding.
Here's your 5-on-3, boy.
5-on-3. First off, maybe the computer has it backwards. I'm pretty sure I got the cross-checking because I cross-checked Freddie Modine, but whatever. It wasn't, this is 04. Like, I didn't cross-check him in the neck. It was on his hip. Anyways, me and Chris Clark go sit in the penalty box. At 2:48 of the first period, Brad Richards scores on the power play Final score 1-0 Tampa.
Oh, that's great stuff.
And I remember the fans were, now that was literally my last game. I remember going in, Jim Playfair. I played 2 minutes and 46 seconds. I thought it was my last shift as a Flame, but obviously I had one or two more mixed in there. Jim Playfair lost it on me. Now we've smoothed it
we've seen Jim Playfair lose it over the years. I think there's a great video of him.
Ripping his clothes off. Yeah, I mean that was pretty funny. And I love Jim Playfair, and he is a fan of the show. He texts me about the show once in a while. Jim and I are buddies, but Jim, I'll tell you what, I've never been so mad. I remember he pulled me into Rich Hethskis, the strength coach's office. I played 2 minutes and 42 seconds and got called for a bullshit cross-checking penalty. I mean, I felt terrible, but I'm like, this is a joke. But I'm like, everybody feels bad, whatever.
Yeah.
We lost the game, but it's not the end of the world, but we did lose a pretty good opportunity. And Jimmy lit me up, just me and him. And I took it. I didn't say a word, and I took it. And I'm not going to repeat what he said and some of the things he said to, like, it wasn't like bad, but like comparing me to some players that, I don't think the world of. And I remember sitting in that chair and I was like this close. I want to grab this chair and smash it over Jimmy's head. I was so mad, but I didn't say anything. And I'm like, okay. And I just took it. And anyways, that ended up, like I said, Jimmy and I are friends now. But that was my last game as a Flame. And I'm pretty sure. Kerry Fraser, I don't think he went back to Calgary ever again. It was like borderline dangerous when he left the ice. People
I'm
were
sure.
pissed.
I'm sure.
Oh, they were throwing everything at him.
I mean, he's a public enemy in Toronto as well. And it's funny. Yep. I tell you, Commie, it was after your time in Carolina, but I covered a series between Boston and Carolina in, I want to say 2009. And Kay Whitmore was the NHL series supervisor for that. Now, Kay, prior to going into the front office of the NHL, Kay had worked for a little while as our hockey analyst at the Score television network way back in the early 2000s. So I got along with Kay. And so here I was covering the series and Kay was traveling around. And so I would, Kay and I would meet up for beers afterwards, but because he was the officiating supervisor for the NHL, we go and hang out with all the refs during the series. And so I got to know Dave Jackson, became a very good friend, who's now an analyst on ESPN. But there was Kelly Sutherland, there was Tim Peel, some great, Stephen Walkham, like so many of these guys, the personality. And man, they were so much fun to hang out with, like over
no doubt.
2-week, 7-game series. Like, man, lots of great times and great evenings. But yeah, I mean, you're essentially playing the role of a beat cop on the ice with the game going fast. And yeah, I think there's a human element, right?
Not an easy job.
It's
There's
a thankless job.
It's a hard job, and yes. That's a great way to put it. It's not easy and it's thankless.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
But I think there was definitely, I think when you talk about the personalities, Razor, you kind of alluded to it off the top. Like there is definitely some ego with a generation, like less so now, but definitely some ego, and some personality, which, personality adds to the game, but at the cost of like calling something like a 5-on-3, 2 minutes into Game 4 of a Stanley Cup final.
Man. What a buzzkill. Yeah.
Okay.